Hi all, I hope you've had a nice little break. Come on, I've done something. Right, well that was about 23 minutes I just had a look at. So, right, I'll try not to be too long, right? You know, I can imagine this is the trouble, I don't want to be too boring, right? So, I think what I'll do is, I'll just go through them and we'll just see, right? What's my, alright, additional questions, right? So that was your first lot. Now we've got some additional questions, and then I think afterwards we've got questions by class pupils. Okay. Okay. Right. What is your favourite art? That's easy. Painting and cinema. So just a point for that one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Give you an example. I think there was a certain gallery up in London, a Sargent Gallery. I think was it Robert Smithson, and he had done an installation of a lake of oil in this gallery. That high, it looked incredible. It reflected everything, but you just didn't know what you was looking at. I like that sort of thing as well, you know. Not really, I mean, you know. So, what is your favourite art? And well, lately it's been fashion, so there's lots of things really. It's like music, really. You know what I mean? You just want to. My music collection is everything. If you like it, that's it. You know, it's in there. What is your favourite colour? Blue. Have you ever painted a tie-dye shirt? Yes, and actually recently. You can be quite creative with tie-dye and that, and bleach. What was your first famous piece of art? Okay, well I suppose we've mentioned it already, Manic Street Preachers and their album cover, Know Your Enemy, where we used for work in the year 2000. They went into it, we were shown in an exhibition in Washington Gallery, not in Washington, in the Washington Gallery in Cardiff, in Penarth. And Nicky Wire, the bass player from the band, used to go to the cafe anyway, he was sitting there and we just happened to be there, and there's works on the wall. And I'd like to think that before that he'd already known about us, because he was always doing things in magazines and big issues. So, but anyway, he invited us to send in work, submit a portfolio of work, and the ones that he liked, he chose. Have you ever painted pictures of presidents? I've painted pictures of the presidents. Presidents is a public neat. I could see Vicky's laughing at that one. Not really. But that was another thing I used to do when I was younger. Well, in 1985 when I got into it, I used to go around a lot of pubs in Neale, paint them in pastels, draw them in pastels, and take photos of them. I done presidents, they bought one, I think it's, and she had to be in the bar for a while. There was this other place in Skewing, and I remember I went there one day, and she goes, "Oh, come back on a Saturday, look, and you can take a picture of the football team as well." So I did. So I went back on Saturday. So I said, "All right, I'm here to take a picture." They were all having a drink. So I got them all eventually out, all the like jeans. So at least they had their shirts on, so it didn't look too bad. I feel terrible now. I had to cut the goalie off because it just didn't work in this rectangular thing I had going. And but anyway, I took a picture of them and the house and the hotel, and I went back then following week, whatever, and I left it with them, and I said, when I went back then later on, I said, "Have you looked at it?" He went, "Oh yeah." She said, I said, "Do you want it?" She said, "No." I said, "What do you mean no?" It's like only £10 or something like that. It was. She said, "Look, you made the pub look like Armadillo Horror, something out of Armadillo Horror, and you made the football team look like the Monster Squad." I said, they looked like that anyway, you know what I mean? What am I? Hey, it's artistic license, isn't it? Right, so, well, how do you know which colour your feelings are? I don't. No, I don't. How do you know that you wanted to paint? How did you know that you wanted to paint? Well, the thing is about painting, we've all painted. You're probably painting now. Everybody draws paints at an early age. It's for me, it's all about using your imagination. So when you draw in, whatever's up there can come out there, and that's a really important point of learning, you know. So, and even when my own kids went to school lately, they don't even do ceramics anymore in comprehensive. You know that? Hardly anybody does. Because I don't know why, they had the kilns there, and I went for 10 years to try to get that kiln done. My kids went through the school without doing any ceramics at all. That is a big error. Because what goes on up here, and what you can make with your hands, is a brilliant way of learning about things. And it's enjoyable as well. So this lot over here, I hope you're doing ceramics where you are, because this lot over here, you can forget it. Don't know why, you know. I think it's because it's more. Is it expensive to put the kiln on? I don't know. But you're missing out on making something with your hands, and something you can keep. It'll be in a drawer for years. And when you're older, you look and you go, "Oh, I remember making that." You've got a fond memory of actually making it, and fun. You know, that's what school should be, isn't it? Right. How do you know you want to paint? Why do you want to be an artist? Well, like I said, that question that I asked myself at the very early time of getting involved, like I didn't know I wanted to go into art. And but what struck me about this question was, why do you want to be an artist? Now, the word artist, I wouldn't even call myself an artist for years, even after I graduated. Didn't have the nerve to do it. So, because I put being an artist right up there, and I wasn't worthy. Oh no, I was not worthy. So after even, continuing to work after graduation with my aim of going to the Slade to do an MA, that interview went boobs up. Got an interview though, but it went boobs up. But after that interview, I did felt there was a weight lifted off my shoulder, because I knew I screwed up. But I felt after I left that interview, I felt, oh God, I don't have to impress anybody anymore. There was a weight lifted off my shoulders. Funny enough, things got a lot better with me exhibiting and everything then. So, why do you want to be an artist? Well, for me, like I said, the word artist, and then I did eventually, the more I exhibited, the more confident I got in what I was doing and showing work, and then you make money, and I think the money part is, I remember a lot of people use the word now, but I used to tell people before about the money part and very dismissive of the money. And I said, no, it's an important part of art, because for me, when somebody buys the work, it it validates what you've done, and that was really important. On people have earned that money, and they go and spend it on what you have done, and it's just a big responsibility that you want to get. You've got to do something good. And so when I started selling the work, it did feel like that, and it still does. It's a validation of what you do. Money is. So maybe I answer your question. I don't know. How many walls have you painted? Hello, is Mr. Wall there? Oh, no. Mrs. Wall there? No. Is there any walls there? No. Well, how was your roof staying on? How many walls have I painted? Oh, hang on, you think I'm a graffiti artist, don't you? Well, I haven't really gone out and I'm not a graffiti artist, okay? I'm a fine artist, I say. What I try to do is bring the outdoors in. Not to say that I've never gone outdoors, but I've never really, I've worked outdoors, done my own stuff outdoors, but nothing near a graffiti, nothing you think of as a graffiti work. But I just get lumped into it. So now I used to put agencies to say, I'm not a graffiti artist. No, I just say that, whatever. How many walls? How many paintings have you painted? Oh right, how many paintings have I painted? A lot, really a lot. Like I said, I was 24 hours a day when I first started. I was 1985. Go to college. I was only part-time in college. I I used to spend 5 days a week down there, all the time. I mean, I lived in that art room. And when I wasn't in the art room, I was outdoors painting, or putting stones on top of other stones, setting them on fire. You know, people like Richard Long and who's the other guy? Andy Bursberry. I only said it the other day. Anyway, oh, Andy Goldsworthy. So you know, works like that, environmental work. So I was constantly looking, challenging, photographing. Like I said, I had my hand in all the pies. That was me. You know what I mean? I just loved being creative in whatever I done. So that I don't know, a lot. I mean, a lot of the pictures are broken up as well. So if we do a large one, we can break it up into smaller pieces, and we used to look at them separately. And I always think sometimes we should sell them off individually as well. So maybe one day somebody bring them all back together to form that one picture they were supposed that they all came from in the beginning. So no. How many painters have you had in well, I think we've done that maybe. How many painters have you had in the gallery? Yeah, we just covered that, didn't we? Do you have your own gallery? I don't have my own gallery. This is my studio. I work with the John Martin Gallery up in London, and they've been pretty good to me. And from then we've shown in art fairs, a lot of the art fairs and that. When we oh, the whole world is my gallery. you can see it now. When were you practicing and how did you get better? Well, you just I would say what I did was the homework that we was given at the very early stages was practical homework, one drawing a week. So, you know, that was the minimum. And that drawing would have to be a substantial drawing, you know. But then, yeah, well, that was one drawing I had on the go constantly in college. Then you'd have to show your sketchbook that you'd been drawing. So what I'm getting at is that it wasn't just about being drawing like this. Do you know what I mean? At the beginning, it was nowhere near this. This is an evolution of what just drawing what you can see in front of you, and you know, wood, things you would find around an art room, which to inspire you, you know, bits of wood, skulls, that sort of thing. And then you just draw those, and you eventually you get to this mess. Okay, so so you just keep on doing, you practice and persevere, and it's try and enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, don't bother doing it, you know, because it's hard work. So do it because your teacher tells you to do it, but as for a career, don't bother, because you've got to it's hard work. So if you don't enjoy what you do, if you don't get that enthusiasm about it, you're not. It's going to be very, very difficult for you. Why would you want to do something anyway you're going to enjoy doing? So that would be my tip. Do something you enjoy. Have you ever hydro dipped lately? Well, I don't even know what that is. Listen now, right? I'm old. I'm not younger than you lot, so I have no idea what hydro dip is. Hey, if I was to say to you, do you know what the Flintstones are, or Scooby-Doo? No, see, you wouldn't know what they are either, would you? So, touche. Right, what art do you like? Well, I think cinema, wasn't it? That was the main topic back then. Have you ever painted your parents? No, but you have certainly given me an idea. Do you usually draw graffiti? Do you have permission? All right, hang on, we're on to questions now. Questions by the class, yeah? So, right. Okay, questions by the class. Do you usually draw graffiti? Do you have permission, John? No, I don't usually draw graffiti. Okay, Juan, John, I've told you just now, no, it's not graffiti. And do you have permission? And what I found out is don't ask for permission for anything. Guys, do you know what they say? No. So if you want to do it, just do it. How did you get good at art? Oh, well, thank you very much, Lydia. Perseverance, born, natural talent. Well, my father was a builder, my mother was a nurse, so it was obviously I was going to be good at art. Well, how do you get good at art? You've got, like I said, you've got to try and enjoy, have a question you want to answer, and there's perseverance. But it's such a fun, for me, it's an exciting area, right? That deals with money, fine art, creativity, films, design, architecture, writing. It's huge. It's massive, you know. And then behind that, you've got the special effects people, the graphic designers. You've got the internet where people are really creative on that. So art now is just a massive arena of different subject matter. And whatever you choose to do, just give it 100% and persevere. You'll be like that. No, I have. I mean, I've been up there. That was like the Marnix, and then down there was a lot interesting. Not so interesting, not so popular. Popular, not so popular. Don't know where I am now. I don't care, because you know you will know that this up and down graph goes all the way through anybody's career. You just get used to it. How did you get good at? What inspired you to paint? Well, like I said, I fell into it by they wouldn't let me do any other subjects at college, and so they said, fancy doing A-level art? I said, never done much sport before. So I took it up, and this is where we are today, still with that same question in my mind. How did you become a famous artist? Ari? Well, thank you, Ari. Doubled up on that one, haven't we? How do you become a famous artist? Well, you've always got to do something outrageous, I suppose. The more outrageous you are, the more interest people get, and it's just a snowball effect then. So, keeping everybody interested in what you're doing. I mean, when I started off as an artist, there was no internet. I'm old school, so I'd have to go down to the library, cut things out, paste them, physically paste them, make posters like that. And I'd done one little project I did myself. I'd picked 10 random people out of the phone books. But they got loads on in the library, it's incredible. So you just randomly pick people and send them artwork. They were like a little puzzle, like a little jigsaw, where they were from a jigsaw. I painted a jigsaw and gave them all a piece each. They never knew much about it. How do all these things? How do you all these things? Just put that in. How did you become a famous artist, Ari? How do you all these things, Rory? How do you all these things? Well, I don't know, Rory. What do you really mean? How do you do that? Or how do you do all these things, perhaps? Yeah, okay. Rory. Well done, Rory. Threw me then. Well, I just use my imagination. You know, it's surprising that you can read so many magazines about contemporary art and shows over the years, and even now, and they hardly ever talk about the imagination. Crazy, isn't it? So that's where I'm coming from. Use what you've got up there. I'm not one of those people who says symbolism and representation. You won't find that this means that and that means this. No, what you see is what you get. So I've always worked, and I've got, that's why I got it attached to other artists like the Italian futurists. So yeah, there we are. What other artists do I like? And it's just come out now. Italian futurists. There was a guy, Roselio, was a musician who was part of that clique, and they were just writing all these manifestos back in the well, when Cubism was coming out, the modern art in the 1910s, 1920s. So you had this, you had the Bauhaus coming out, that was in Germany. So we had all this really exciting time at the beginning of the century where everybody was really being creative, and all these new art was at the forefront of that, I suppose. Well, not just art, everything, engineering, trains, planes, cars. It was just one of those things. It was like an industrial uh, part of the century. Everything was getting better, and art. Just there was a group of artists called the Italian Futurists, and it's just worth finding out about them. So there was a guy in charge of Marinetti, but the one I used to like was Russello, and he was he had his name of his project, or way he described himself was called the Art of Noise, and there was a band in the 80s that took that name and used it. They were called the Art of Noise as well. So they used, and if you look at some of the album covers, you see ZTT, which is the production company, but it's also ZZT, is Tum Tum, which is what Rossello used to use in his show. So it's all, all little clues and all that there. But he done a show once. Was it him? But there we are. I'll give you an example of what the Futurists were up to. They would have a theatre show, and they'd invite people along, and the curtain would raise only 2 feet up, and that would be it. Then they would do the play behind that curtain, and all you could see is feet. Right? It's brilliant. Other times they'd have shows and they'd put vegetables under people's seats for them to throw at them. So they very interactive. And the examples of art throughout the years, I just come up in advertising and are used by other artists. But I say advertising because if I wasn't an artist, I would have loved to have gone into advertising. It's just one of those areas that really appealed to me. That and working as a doctor in a burns unit. I've always been attracted by fire, and so that and advertising. And right, what do you do? Right, Rory, right. How do you do that? Yo-yo. How do I do that? Okay, yo-yo. It's a great name, isn't it? How do you do that? How do you do that? Oh, well, I use my imagination. I'll cut it quick. Why do you want to be an artist? Because of the reasons I said earlier. Tia, or tiao. Why do you want to be an artist? Because of that question. You've been listening. Why do you usually do what? Where do you usually do your art? Well, I'm doing it in my studio at the moment. Here we are. That's in South Wales in the UK. We're the only country with a picture of our mother-in-law on the flag. Right. How did you make it? How did you make it? How did you make it? Well, okay. I suppose if you're not physically here, it's basically wood, and then I start off small in the pictures. Usually, sometimes it can be quite small. It's just a drawing. I can bring a lot of other things into it. So you start expressing yourself. I mean, what I've been doing lately is say like stuff like this, which are. I mean, this would be good for you teachers to do with you one day. Stenciling, and it's such an easy way to make things, and so you can make stencils, and then you can print them out as if, and you can cover one vast area quite quickly, and it's just such a lovely way of producing something immediate and something honest about it and all that. So I can see why it's used by Banksy and a lot of other graffiti artists, because it's just an incredible way of painting. I mean, I suppose you've got to be quick in case you get nicked, but it definitely is. The results on it are pretty good. So that. I've also used comic books and stuff like that, and themes from that. I mean, you know, that was like little areas of, again, advertising. A lot of it was old advertising pulled out. How do you design? How do you make it? How do you design it with your materials? Oh, David. 7. How do you make it? How do you design it with your materials? Um, well, I mean, I don't really think about it too much. Okay. I think thinking is bad for your health, so I just get on with it and see what comes out. I think that answers your question, hopefully. What age did you start painting? Well, I'm getting older now. Uh, I think we all start painting when we're young. I mean, but I went back to college at 20, but we've always painted. My first basic, yeah, I mean, my first images of painting was when I was really young, and used to make the bath soap thing with, you know, with a shaving brush and paint all over the bathroom wall like that. I can't really see it now. It's pretty good. In fact, I should do it again. How would you get? Um, how did you know what to do, Malvin? How did you know what to do? Well, I think after you've done something for so long, you just get used to it, and so you're always trying to push yourself to do something you haven't done before. That's why I've gone into stenciling. That's why I do fashion. That's why I've done animation. Get people to think about things. You know, get me to think about things slightly different. So I'm always looking around, maybe, you know, something I can steal or something. What I would say is animation is really good, because what's the question that everybody asks you when you're an artist is, what's that then? And what's that about then? And oh, of course you haven't done any of it. But when you're doing exhibitions, that is the most common question. So in the end, I started showing them these. I said, look, come over here, look at this. And I had this portable DVD player, and I'd show them these small animations I was doing. A couple of them, you know, a few years ago now. And they sort of, well, stopped them in their tracks in a way. It sort of answered everything they wanted to know. Now, that for me was intriguing. What was it about animation that struck a chord with them? And that's where I got into it, animation a bit longer. When I've done bigger works, it took a longer time to do, which we had project money to do as well then for that one. But I was just intrigued how animation captures people's imagination, because it is a series of drawings, so it is art, isn't it? But what is it about something quite fast that goes up here? You know, and I think it's about realism, really. It's about, like, animation. A lot of animation makes you believe it's real. So, you know, I think that might be the attraction. Right then, come on, let's get through these. Coming to the end now, surely coming to the end now, Howells. God, how long are you going to be here? You're all yawning there, you? Well, I mean, look, 3 pages I'm doing for you. That's the type of person I am, you know. You've got to get in a good artist, answering them off fully, not one word answers. How did you start painting things? What age did you start thinking? Yeah. How did you know what to do, Malvin? I don't know, make it up as you go along, intuition. How do you make your stuff 3D? Well, I've always liked sculpture, and fashion has helped me look at it all around as well at the moment. So that would probably answer that. How do you get your ideas? My imagination. Why did you use paint? Because it was like, it's one of the most interesting mediums for me to use. I love the way you can actually, you know, it's basically an extension of drawing, isn't it? And once you give a person a pencil, using your imagination, you can actually draw anything, you know, anything can come to life. So painting is just an extension of that. How did it take? How long did it take you to do? Well, I got one behind there, year, 2 years. I'm in no rush to do it anymore, Julian. Getting old now. what's the point in it? I mean, you should really have a chat about that. Do you think artists do the most exciting work when they're younger or when they're older? What inspired you into art? Like I said, was basically fell into it. But okay, what inspired you into art? I mean, I did get into art college actually, unknown fact. When I left school, I sort of applied myself and went along, and so not a lot of people know this. And when I was in the interview, she goes, "Hang on, how old are you?" I said, "You know, 60. You're too young, you can't come here." I said, really? Hey, you can't, no, you can't. This is like a degree here. Can't come here. So I got that far to an interview. But so anyway, that was after school, and then I just went back to work then. So art to me has always been there. But it wasn't until I went back to A-level art that I really got into it. Did you express feelings in your art? Yes, and I did, and I took a hammer to a lot of it, and I smashed up a lot of stuff, and I burnt a lot of stuff,